Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lloyd 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
CSI meets KFC? Who knows?
What's Chris? What's going on, Chris?
CSI and KFC.
It's a line from Knives Out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, we're continuing talking about the Phase 4. Yeah, Chris, do you want to continue?
No, I was just saying, we were talking about a potential leaked lineup for what the next release dates for Phase 4 of the MCU. Again, we're taking this with a grain of salt because obviously we can't back this up.
Yeah.
It's unsubstantiated at this point. But if it's true, we're just kind of humoring it at this point.
Right.
It was definitely interesting. And to be honest with you, I know that they're pushing for this, and they're probably going to wind up doing it eventually. I know they've already started doing it, but I really don't want them to do 3 movies a year. I can only stomach so much Marvel at this point,
Right.
and I would be fine if they did 1 a year. That's just me. If they went back to doing that, I'd be like, okay.
Well, I have
fine.
a question for you. Isn't the next... Here's the thing. They're filming Black Widow now, right?
Yes.
Which will be done probably soon or whatever it is, right?
Most likely.
And they're not filming anything else yet, right? They didn't film... Did they start filming Doctor Strange?
I heard allegedly they started filming Doctor Strange.
That's what I heard, too. Now, so in other words, if you're in charge of picking the first movie to start Phase 4, would you start it off with Doctor Strange because he's the one that saw the choice and whatever, and he's better to explain maybe what's going on now in the MCU, or would you start it off with Black Widow?
I would either start it off with Black Widow or Black Panther, to be honest.
Not Doctor Strange.
No.
Why?
What I would do with Doctor, and I'm biased with this because I'm a big Doctor Strange guy, but for me, the first few movies in Phase 4 they would obviously have their own stories, like normal, but something would hint towards the overall larger finale for Phase 4, or whatever we're leading to at this point, right?
Okay.
What I would do, kind of keeping with Doctor Strange's character and the way his stories work, when Doctor Strange 2 came out, I would have him be the one who finally notices, hey, there's a problem. Like, something is happening.
Like King the Conqueror or something?
Yeah, or whatever the overall thing is going to be. He's the one who's like, hey, what is going on here? We may have a bigger problem. And then he's the one that kind of reaches out to the remaining Avengers and is like, listen, this is what's happening. This is what I know. Because obviously he probably wouldn't know everything that's going on. But
could this have something to do with the Thanos snap and the bringing people back 5 years later? It might cause like a shift.
Whatever it is irrelevant. What I'm saying is that whatever it is, Doctor Strange would be the one who takes notice of it. And he'd be like, we need to do something about this. Whatever that is. It could be anything. You throw it at the wall, whatever it could be. But he's the one who's like, hey, issue, I need to tell the other Avengers.
Now, would there be a villain that would try to stop him from doing that?
Possibly.
Now, what do you think the purpose is of Black Widow? An apprentice?
Yes, I because what's her name? Florence something. I can't remember her last name. She's the actress who played Paige in the Fighting with My Family film.
Okay.
I guess she's playing the Scarlett Johansson's apprentice in this movie. So what I'm thinking is happening is that she's going to be introduced as the new Black Widow, and they're going to go. Yeah. They're going to use her going forward.
They're going to flash forward to her dying and then her taking over, and I promise.
Yeah, she'll probably be introduced in one of these upcoming Marvel movies as the new Black Widow, and from there, which to me cements in my mind that the original Black Widow is dead. She's not coming back.
Right.
So
we think,
which is fine. I'm fine with that. But I really don't think that. There's going to be anything larger than that. I think that's going to be the main portion of that movie is Apprentice. There you go.
Now, major question. The main focal point of Marvel was Iron Man, right? With him gone, obviously Spider-Man was going to be the face of the MCU until they realized that Sony may not sign the contract, and they shifted gears to Captain Marvel, right? Is Captain Marvel going to be the face of the MCU? Is like she going to be in multiple movies? Is she going to like how? Where's it going to work with that? Like,
I think she's going to slide into the Captain America spot there, where she's going to be like the quote unquote leader of New Avengers.
Widow's going to be the head.
And I think what you're going to start seeing is these newer characters are going to start sliding into the slots of the original Avengers. Like, for example, Captain Marvel is going to be like Captain America. Spider-Man's going to be like Iron Man. Black Panther's going to be like Thor. The one that kind of sticks out to me, though, is Doctor Strange, because what I think he's going to be, whereas Tony Stark kind of figured things out, you know, as they went along, he'd be like, okay, this is what's happening. I think what's going to happen is that the Iron Man slot is going to be split into two parts. It's going to be Spider-Man is going to be like the technological, you know, really smart, you know, picks things up as they go along character. Whereas Doctor Strange is going to be the I know what's going on. I know how to stop it. I need your help to do it kind of character.
So then he's replacing Bruce Banner?
Somewhat, but I hesitate to say that because I don't think that's the last we're going to see of Professor Hulk. I think he's going to come back.
In a movie?
Yes.
Yay.
Especially now that he's injured, and apparently that's not going away.
That should go away. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not, though, because they said he's injured. It's basically done. So unless they reverse it, which they could.
That's
but right now, though, they're saying, no, he's injured. He's basically one arm.
Permanently.
Yeah.
Right? Permanently?
Yep.
Whatever. Okay. Unless he turns back to Banner.
He might be more like a consultant. He might be like the Avengers consultant. Like he helps them build things. He kind of mentors Peter Parker.
Yeah, but see, that's another thing. We keep including Peter Parker as if Sony is going to resign. What if they don't? They are going to sign, you think?
Oh, if they don't, then, you know, I guess that's the fuck you Spider-Man, unfortunately. You know?
Then it's like, oh, well, you know, think of somebody else now that's Iron Man Legacy, whatever the hell is he going to do there.
Yeah. And you know, you're not going to like this. I might be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong, unfortunately. If they don't get Spider-Man back, and like at one point where like the MCU is without Spider-Man, they're gonna go the Ironheart route. They're gonna have a female Iron character in there.
Oh my God.
It's gonna happen.
Oh my God.
It's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
God.
Because you can't put War Machine in there. He's not like Tony Stark. So I mean.
So, like, Tony Stark's dead, and they just closed up his company with all the money he was making just because he was the main thing, right? There's nobody else. There's nobody. Like, they just ended the whole company? That's what I don't understand.
You know what I think happened? I think his company collapsed during that 5 years. Because if you notice, they were living in that log cabin, which was nice, don't get me wrong. But they didn't make any, like, oh, the company's still around. Kind of.
I mean, he was rich, but
yeah. Oh, I'm sure he was, but like he doesn't need his company to be rich. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
I'm sure he was pretty good at saving his money. You know, right. But and honestly though, I'm okay with that because now this is their opportunity to introduce Oscorp.
Yeah, but. So in other words, do you think that what they're going to do is the Avengers are so effed up that they're going to be the Dark Avengers trying to take the Avengers spot, and there's not really that many powerful Avengers to stop them, and it's just like they're going to work with that?
What I'm hoping is that Oscorp becomes kind of like the anti-Stark Industries, where it's like they're saying that they're doing good things, but they're really not.
Right.
You know? Whereas Stark Industries was doing good things and they actually were doing good things.
Yeah.
I think Oscorp is going to be like well, with the loss of Tony Stark, I'll be here to make sure the world continues its progress, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's stabbing everybody in the back.
But wouldn't it have to work because he has to be a Spider-Man villain first, and you have to build that whole history? You're just going to make him like a Lex Luthor or something? Like,
No, they would. I think if they're smart, they'll do that. They'll make him a primary Spider-Man villain. But
right.
I think he could be like the benefactor for like a larger Avengers level threat. You know what I'm saying? Like if they do like a Dark Avengers thing.
He can be a shadow villain.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's pulling the strings in the background.
Right.
But the Avengers, I mean, they're not going to fight Norman Osborn. I mean, like.
But you have to establish the Green Goblin as like first. It's got to be established first.
I don't think he's going to be established first. I think
he's not even going to be the Green Goblin. You don't think?
I see them doing Doc Ock before they would do.
Because when he was Norman Osborn, they made it. Yeah, it's good.
No, I was just saying that's who I see first is Doc Ock, and then.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, you know what it is? I understand that they used him in the comics way after, but like as Norman Osborn, not like Green Goblin fighting everybody, but like him being Norman Osborn and his riches and manipulation. But you still, that's years away. You have to establish him first, Spider-Man's villain first.
I would not be surprised if he showed up in the next Spider-Man film.
The one today, right now?
No. I'm like the third.
Oh, the third one.
You know, yeah. I have a feeling that he's going to show up, and that's going to be kind of like the wink, wink, nudge, nudge for if this continues. And I'm going to be honest with you. If Norman Osborn does show up in there, I think that's going to be a clear sign that Sony and Marvel have worked something else out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to ask you a question because I was thinking about this. You know how we never heard about Uncle Ben?
Yes.
And we didn't hear anything about his parents being spies and all that shit, right?
Yes.
Do you think that they're going to merge this whole situation and they're going to try to cause a deeper tie to Norman Osborn by making it that Peter Parker's parents worked for Oscorp or something like that, and then they got killed, and Ben was aware of this, and the Norman Osborn was responsible for the death of Uncle Ben?
So the thing with his parents, right? I actually don't think they're going to be anything special.
Okay.
Because that's starting to sound a little too much like what they did with the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That completely fell flat.
They did.
So yeah, I honestly think that as far as Peter Parker's parents go, I think they were just normal people who unfortunately had an accident and died. Now, as far as Uncle Ben, could they do something there? Yes. However, I don't think it's necessary to make it more than it has to be. I think if you make Uncle Ben just a normal, everyday guy who was a good person and he was killed, that's more than enough motivation for Peter Parker to become Spider-Man.
But was that even ever established why he became Spider-Man, or he just became Spider-Man because it was a cool thing to be? Like
we don't know.
We don't know.
They never dove into that, and I think that's something that they will eventually dive into. I'm just saying that I would be okay if there wasn't like some sort of big conspiracy, like they all work for Oscorp and because that's honestly, as weird as it sounds, we've done this story 3 separate times already, but that would be really cliche. It would just be like, now we're saying that Peter Parker was destined to become Spider-Man.
I don't like that.
It's like, no, he wasn't. He was just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time.
An accident.
Made the best out of a bad situation.
Right.
That's really what Peter Parker does, Like.
Yes, I agree, and I hope they don't start tying everybody to Oscorp, because they did that with the last movie. They were trying to make like every damn villain there was because Oscorp made this suit and this thing and that thing, and
I think that could have worked. It just wasn't executed properly.
I didn't like that because you know what it is. It was lazy because everybody had their individual origin, and it was all separate from Oscorp, and Oscorp was not tied to anybody. Period. And to do it that way would just it would ruin everything.
I just didn't like how there was that one scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 where the guy was walking by that case and they had like the Doc Ock arms and the Vulture wings and
That was
the
ridiculous.
suit and the Venom suit was in there too for some reason. And it was like, what, you had this stuff in the basement the whole time? Like, what the hell?
Like, why didn't you use it? Right.
It was like, yeah, you want to be a supervillain? We got shit for everybody. Like,
right.
And it's why? Like someone needs to explain to me the practicality of a robot suit that looks like a rhino. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Somebody needs to explain to me how Peter Parker and Harry were such great friends, but they were 9. Which the things they did together, they didn't do anything together because their parents were always with them. They weren't really like teenagers or college. They screwed that up. So they were making it like they was such a huge foundation of them being friends. They were 9.
You know what I love too? I love that too, how he's like, I need Spider-Man's blood or I'm going to die. I love how Peter Parker's like, no, fuck you. Like, I'm sitting there like, go.
Yeah.
I'm like, go. If you two are such good friends, right?
Yeah.
Go there and be like, look, I'm Spider-Man.
It's selfish almost because like you don't want anybody to be Spider-Man.
Right. It's like, I'll give you my blood. Just don't tell anybody that I'm Spider-Man. And you know what Harry probably would have been like? Okay, you're saving my life.
Exactly. He would not be a dick and he not be exactly.
He'd be like, okay, buddy, because really think about it. What is he gonna do? Is he gonna sell you out? He's already rich.
Yeah.
Is he gonna go to
He would be indebted to you forever, and he would be honoring his word because you took that shit off his plate, and now he's completely normal. And every time you make $1 million or $1 billion, it would be because Peter Parker. So be like, yeah, man, sure, no problem.
Yeah, like what is he gonna do? Is he gonna go to the Daily Bugle and be like, my best friend who just saved my life from the life-ending disease that killed my father is my best buddy?
Right.
Like what? Like for real? Like what? What the hell? I never got that. When I heard that, I was like, that is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard.
Well, they copied that for the video game, which I was scratching my head too, and like, what do you mean Harry Osborn's got this disease that only Osborns get? Like, why are you doing that? You know? But I guess we would have found out in the next Spider-Man game. But
well, at least that made sense because they weren't like, you need Spider-Man's blood. You know, like it was like. And
they actually killed MA, which now was something that Marvel didn't want to do, but now I think it's gonna happen for real in the comics.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think they're gonna do that. I think they want to change things up, and Aunt May is gonna die, probably.
They should have her about to die, and then Mephisto shows up and is like, you want to make another deal? And then Spider-Man undoes the original one.
Well, see, that's another thing. I got to look into comics now because technically Ghost Rider is the king of hell. So, like, is Mephisto a bum on the street now? Or, I mean, because I got to tell you, they spent many years making it that he was just another dimension. He likes to make it out like he's the devil and everything. But recently, if he was around since the cavemen and he made somebody Ghost Rider with a woolly mammoth.
Oh, God.
Then he's the devil. Like, I'm sorry, you know, unless he's time traveling, he's the devil. And now they're making it that his realm is hell. He's the devil. Like, they're making him the devil. So he would be the crossover in December, I would think. But, you know, what are you going to do?
Rider and a woolly mammoth. Like, I didn't think I'd ever hear that before. Like,
but you know what, though? You know how the comic books, like when Stan Lee did it and Steve Ditko did it, the villains were grounded in reality. Like, you know, all right, maybe that could happen. Maybe that could happen.
Yeah.
But now, like, J.J. Abrams doing, like, this General Grievous, ridiculous, like, thing, and these alien predator creature minion things that are not cute, like minions, and, like, demons in hell. Like, it's just the villains of Spider-Man. It's, like, so, like, some of them are just it's like ridiculous now. Like they turned the comic into like fantasy.
It's like at what point do you step back and go, yeah, Spider-Man's not really meant to fight something like that.
Correct. Like, oh, I battled somebody in hell, Mary Jane. Oh, really? Was it hot down there? It's like, what? Right. It's like, oh. And time traveling and all kinds of shit. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I have a sister and kumbaya. Like, first of all, if you found out that you had a sister, honestly, it takes you years and years and years to develop like a sibling relationship. You cannot just snap your fingers and then you would risk your life to the person you don't even know. Like, it wouldn't be like a thing where she loves him unconditionally as a brother, and she's been, and in the comic they had that. Like, she's saving Spider-Man because I am Peter Parker's sister. What does that mean? What does that mean? I thought Spider-Man was a thing. Like, you're nothing. Like, and I was like, well, what do you mean? First of all, if his parents did run and leave him behind, do you think they're going to be irresponsible to have like sex and have where there's going to be another kid that they're going to have to be on the run with? That's all bullshit. Like, all bullshit. It's like I no, that did not take, because there were odds with that. Like, some people didn't even acknowledge it. Like, that's not real. It's terrible. Just like I don't acknowledge Tony Stark's mom being a rock singer and his dad being a Hydra agent. Like, you'd be like, what? You know, Chris?
Yeah.
It gets stupid. And I'm sorry, but like him becoming Professor Hulk, right? Honestly, like with everything that happened with the trauma, like there's no way he's merged with the Hulk, right? Because where is that personality? There's not one thing of rage in there. It has to manifest as something, and he's not there. He's not there. He is not there. Okay? So I would think that after Endgame, he loses control. And maybe he turns back to Banner. But if he turns back to Banner, technically with gamma radiation, and he turns back to the Hulk, he should heal. It should be gone. Like, his body's restricting back to human size and then restricts back to Hulk size. He's not going to have a wound where he's not going to have one arm as a human. It's not like, Kurt Connor's the Lizard. When he was the Lizard, he had arms. When he back to human, he didn't have that arm, It's not, it doesn't work like that. And in the comics, it was never like that either. It wasn't that the gems would kill them, Because look how many people had the damn core. I know it's getting late, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Was there anything else, Chris, that what about Godzilla? Anything with Godzilla? Or?
Not at the moment.
I mean, it's not at 400 million yet, but I think it is. Let me just see. Godzilla. Where are you, Godzilla? I didn't see you. Oh, 11th place now. It's switched with Endgame.
Ooh.
So Godzilla has 377 with a domestic thing of 106.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it's making 4, right?
I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it is in China till the end of the month, apparently, so.
Well, it made some million in China that added to the gross. But now the surprising thing is Endgame is not out of the top 10 right now. And I anticipate it making some millions because of Spider-Man, And it never. That's the thing I don't understand. Because maybe you could explain this to me, and if you have a minute, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was sending you numbers because I was looking at the history of Avatar, which I wasn't aware of. Right now, I guess technically it's true that Avengers never beat it, right? But when the first run that it had, it made 749 million, like 766,139, which was domestically, right? And of course, Avengers did beat that, right? But the worldwide was 2,749,000,000, right? Now
Yeah.
again, Avengers didn't beat that until they started the re-release thing, right? I guess. So, but then it was re-released, which made it become not 2,749, but 2,787, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, why isn't there an asterisk next to Avatar that it has added money to that?
There is.
There is.
There is, yeah.
Okay. So the number that Avengers had to beat without being re-released was 2,749, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, the movie wasn't taken out of the theater. Like, Avengers is still, even though it's not in all these theaters, it's in 11th place. Like, it didn't leave the theater and then come back to be re-released. So is that still considered a re-release, even though it's already in the theaters already? Because the theater count was just expanded back to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's an asterisk going to be with Avengers.
Possibly not with this. They might consider this part of the initial release, just like it might be like an edited initial release, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they've ever done something like this before, so it's kind of weird.
Now, if it left the theater and then came back,
that's a re-release.
That's what I consider a re-release. Yeah. That's what I just think they boosted the because Captain Marvel doesn't have a asterisk. I don't think they did the same thing like Captain Marvel. They boosted the theater counts.
Yeah.
Back up. So
that would be an initial release to me.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a re-release.
It still didn't beat it though. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still. You know, it sucks that it didn't beat it, but you know what though? You gotta in my case, I think they really screwed up with the. They should have never They should have never added the release to it. They
shouldn't have. They should have.
That's bad because let me tell you something. If they start doing that with movies, Disney, things are gonna flop all the time. You know how like with Apple, right? When Steve Jobs died, and then all of a sudden they're making new iPhones, but they're not really putting the effort into it like Steve Jobs would, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, why the hell is this with this phone? Why the hell is this isn't an improvement? Why is this? And then you're hearing horror stories like the new iPhones, like the worst ever, like whatever. Like it's like the person that was the heart of the company is like gone, you know? So like if Disney,
that's what happened with Walmart,
right? If Disney's making these mistakes now, wouldn't they expand and start ruining the MCU?
No, I think they'll learn from this and
you'll learn.
Yeah, I think they'll look at this and say, okay, let's not do this again.
I mean, they screwed up with Solo and they screwed up with other stuff. So
well, Solo was an issue. I mean, from the beginning, you know. I mean that was just.
But they wouldn't get it delayed like Lucas wanted it delayed, and they said no. Like
which is unfortunate because Solo was actually a pretty good film.
It was,
but
yeah, I loved it.
It was good, yeah. Now, was Paul Rudd a Ghostbuster?
Paul Rudd? I don't know.
Yeah, because
Paul Rudd is in Ghostbusters. You heard about that?
No, I didn't actually. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Paul Rudd did a video in front of the firehouse.
Oh.
And he said that Jason Reitman, made the call, and he's like, I answered the call, and I'm going to be filming Ghostbusters, whatever. He's supposed to play a teacher, whatever. But I kind of find it difficult to believe that if you're going to get a character like Paul Rudd, he's not going to be a Ghostbuster. He has to be a Ghostbuster.
I still think he's going to be related to one of the guys.
He would have to be. He can't be like a secondary character. No, he's got to be a Ghostbuster.
He's related to one of them.
He's got to be a Ghostbuster, like maybe related to Egon or something. He's got to be a Ghostbuster. I would think. But the movie is, I don't even know what the hell it is now, because now they're all in it, and the young character is related to one of the Ghostbusters, and now it makes sense that maybe they're trying to emulate or prove themselves to their family member, you know? So I don't know what's going to happen.
They definitely turned around the interest with this one, because I remember when they started saying what it was actually going to be, people were like, what the hell?
Yeah, this shit sucks, yeah.
Now it's like, oh, wait a minute, that actually sounds good.
Yeah.
it probably got back to him that people were thinking, okay, this is going to be a Stranger Things, and we don't want a Stranger Things Ghostbusters. We want to see the actual Busters or some sort, and they decided to go, oh, okay, we'll go this way.
Jason Reitman basically opening up the door that the Ghostbuster universe is big enough for another sequel to the girls, or like, you know, or whatever. Like, the more the merrier. Let's go. Like, different Ghostbuster teams, different universes, or whatever. You know, not just this movie Ghostbusters. So I don't know. I honestly am looking forward now to Ghostbusters. But what I'm not looking forward to is the prequel to Gremlins.
Oh God.
The animated one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we say they were gonna do that shit with the young Gizmo and a young Chinese, like the guy was a teenager instead of the old man? Like, who cares about that?
You know what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to explain that Gizmo's actually an alien.
You think they're gonna do that?
That's
Yeah,
apparently.
he'll open his mouth, the jaws will fly out. And...
No. I mean, that's like really the thing. Like, they're actually aliens.
Is that what they are?
Yeah.
When did they establish that?
That was. I remember reading it a long time ago that like the Mogwais were actually like an alien race, and
that
Gizmo
crashed in like Roswell or something, or
not necessarily that, but it was something like the original alien race made them to be like ambassadors or something. That's why they're so innocent and cute, and they just have like a genetic flaw that turns them into gremlins or something like that.
Oh, is that what it was, a genetic flaw?
It's something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because if you remember, pretty much they hadn't yet even decided that that Gizmo was going to be the good guy in all this in the original movie.
No, well, the new movie was going to be turned into a gremlin. They were going to ruin it. They were going to kill Gizmo.
No, because in the original thing for Gremlins was he was going to be the one. He was going to actually turn evil.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until later on that they decided to go, okay, Stripe's going to be the evil one, and these little things that are popping off him is going to become evil. So that's why in the movie they had everything filmed up to that little scene where you see him driving on a little car. That's the reason. That was the whole thing. He was going.
Another thing that's weird is that the first movie's in Hill Valley.
Yeah.
Like Back to the Future. That's the clock tap. Like, are they trying to say it's the same universe? Is it the same universe, I guess?
Yeah, that's what somebody.
They were trying to insinuate that?
They did a lot of these Mojo things like, here's a connected universe and blah, 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 blah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that until recently. I'm like, wait, what? I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. You know. Oh, and also Christopher Lloyd spoke out about, which they're not going to make a Back to the Future 4, by the way. But he said if there was going to be a Back to the Future 4, it should be about the environment. And it's like, why do we have to do stuff to do with, like, the Earth dying or the Earth being destroyed, or like why do we have political messages about global warming? And I mean, they're doing that in Doctor Who. Look, why the hell would you have a movie about that?
Why Back to the Future? Like, what the like?
Another Back to the Future.
Back to the Future just doesn't make sense.
Like a fourth Back to the Future to start talking about, oh, now their mission is to change something in the past because the Earth's going to be destroyed because of global warming or recycling or stupid shit. Like, what is this going to turn into? Like, thank God they're not making it, but just, I don't know. Anything else with Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker? Anything going on or no?
I haven't heard anything too much. I think.
I mean, they're done, right? I mean, they're just doing special effects now, right?
I don't know, actually. They might be. They don't really have a lot. I mean, they've got like a little over 5 months, so I'm assuming we're gonna get some news pretty soon, probably towards Comic-Con, like D3 kind of thing.
Weren't we supposed to get a trailer?
I don't think we're gonna get one anytime soon.
No, it's going to be either at or after Comic-Con. They're going to do that.
I think the next trailer is probably gonna be in like September or October.
Okay.
And then we'll get like a final trailer in like November.
I mean, didn't we always get trailers like so many months in advance? Like to build up the momentum to it. Now
look at that last movie did. They probably want to cover their ass on that one.
I know, but look? Wouldn't they just build this up for 6 months? Like have a trailer out like now?
They don't want to risk it.
You always run that risk of we're exposing it too much.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I think they're gonna do kind of like slow burn marketing on this one.
But wasn't Solo they didn't promote it enough?
Well, Solo they didn't promote at all, but they
No,
knew
they
that was a mess. So I mean,
all right. I mean, how do you think that's going to do? We can't tell what any
episode 9.
Yeah.
I think it's going to do well. I don't think it's going to do as well as 7 or 8, but I mean, I don't know. It really depends on the reception, I guess. You know, if people really like it, then I guess it'll do well. If not, I don't know. I think critically it will do fine because the critics seem to love these films. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, 7 and 8 always get really good critical reviews. So I mean.
But now, what about the future? Because like Ryan Johnson, is he out? Because nobody announced that he was out.
I don't think so. I think that if Knives Out does really well, they're going to be like, hey, yeah, announce your thing.
Right.
I think they're more so focused on what Benioff and Weiss are doing.
So they're putting that ahead of Ryan Johnson's thing.
I would assume so. I think that next Star Wars trilogy that they announced for the next few years is going to be theirs. But they're still
doing Ryan Johnson stuff.
As far as I know.
Yeah, that would be the trilogy after, right?
I would assume so, unless
they're not going to mix the trilogy. That would confuse the shit out of people.
Oh yeah, no, not at least not right now. I know the big thing is that like Daisy Ridley said that she's basically done after 9, which is interesting.
Well, she's not going to be part of this trilogy. Not that she's done.
It's part of the main
story. And supposedly, if that's it, then she's done. I mean, they're not going to do it 10, 11, 12, right?
I think they'll do something eventually. They won't call it 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
You know, I think that I think those characters will return in some capacity, but yeah. I don't know.
I think it'll be 10, 11, and 12. Honestly, to get behind people to see it rather than just call it. It would do better if it just called 10, 11, or 12. Mm. That's like saying Star Wars and the Planet of the Hoojums or something like that. That was a record act. It was supposed to be a sequel to Return of the Jedi. I got in Kmart when I was a kid. That was the closest to a sequel there was. A record player, like a record, listening to a Star Wars adventure on a record player. And I was like,
I had the tape. I didn't have the album.
I was all excited. I was telling my dad, we gotta, And then while I got that, I got the Kiss album. It's like, Oh, okay. I mean, it was, so weird how that stuff's back now, It's crazy. But, all right. It's late. We're out of here. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye for now.